The command deck of the Sovereignty fell silent as General Vex Thor's declaration echoed through the chamber. His four eyes closed in what the humans had learned to recognize as apex grief, a rare display of emotion from the galaxy's most feared military race. "No one can save him," the general repeated, his translator converting the guttural apex language into flat, emotionless standard. "Commander Roma's injuries are incompatible with life. Even our regeneration chambers cannot repair damage to the central neural core." Dr. Anna Chen stood at the back of the observation deck, her small human frame dwarfed by the towering apex officers surrounding her. She'd been assigned to the Sovereignty as part of the Terran Apex Medical Exchange Program, a political gesture following humanity's recent admission to the Galactic Coalition. For 6 months, she'd been treated as little more than a curiosity, the primitive primate playing doctor among the galaxy's elite. But now, watching the vital signs of Commander Roma flicker on the medical display, Anna felt something ignite in her chest. That stubborn, irrational human instinct that had driven her species to climb mountains simply because they were there, to sail oceans without knowing what lay beyond, to reach for stars they couldn't touch. "Permission to examine the patient, General," Anna said, her voice cutting through the morning silence. Vex Thor's head swiveled toward her, all four eyes focusing with the intensity that had earned him the title Apex of Apexes. "Dr. Chen, you misunderstand. This is not a matter of expertise. The damage is absolute. His cerebral cortex has been severed in 14 places. No medical technology in the known galaxy can—" "Permission to examine the patient," Anna repeated, already moving toward the medical bay doors. The general's mandibles clicked, an apex expression of confusion. "Human, your species has been spacefaring for barely a century. We Apex have conquered death itself for civilizations longer than your world has had writing. What could you possibly—" "General," Anna interrupted, something steel entering her voice. "With respect, humanity didn't conquer death. We never had the luxury. We learned to fight it, every single day, with everything we had." She met his alien gaze without flinching. "And we got pretty damn good at it." For a long moment, Vex Thor studied her. Then, surprisingly, he stepped aside. Anna entered the medical bay where Commander Roma lay motionless on the regeneration platform. The young Apex officer, barely into his second century, practically a child by their standards, had taken plasma fire to the head, protecting human colonists during the Krell raid. The irony wasn't lost on Anna. Roma had nearly died saving her people. The least she could do was try. She pulled up his neural scans, her fingers flying across the holographic interface. The damage was catastrophic. The Apex were right. By conventional standards, this was impossible. Their medical technology relied on the body's own regenerative capabilities, amplified and directed. But with the central neural core severed, there was nothing to regenerate from. But humans had learned to work with broken things. Anna's mind raced back to her residency at Johns Hopkins, to cases of traumatic brain injury that should have been fatal, to the pioneering work in neural bridging, to experimental procedures that the Galactic Medical Council had dismissed as crude mechanical intervention. She rolled up her sleeves. "Computer, I need access to the human medical database. Authorization Chen Alpha 7. "Acknowledged," the ship's AI responded. "Pull up all research on neural scaffolding, synthetic synaptic bridging, and bioelectric pattern mapping." Behind her, she heard the door open. General Vex Thor entered, followed by the entire medical staff. "What are you doing?" the general asked. "Something crazy," Anna admitted, her hands already assembling components from both human and Apex medical supplies. "Your regeneration technology is more advanced than ours, but it needs something to work with, a template, a pattern." She gestured to the scans. "His neural pathways are severed, but the pattern still exists in the surrounding tissue. Echoes. electrical ghosts. That's impossible to utilize, the gaps are too large. For your technology, yes. Anna's eyes gleamed. But humans had to learn to build bridges across impossible gaps. That's kind of our specialty. For the next 8 hours, Anna worked with a focus that bordered on obsession. She constructed a neural scaffold using human biotech, essentially artificial neurons that could temporarily carry signals across the damaged areas. Then, using the apex regeneration chamber, she stimulated Roma's own neural tissue to grow along the scaffolding, using the electrical echoes as a map. It shouldn't have worked. The technology was too different, the approach too radical. The marriage of human ingenuity and apex biological science, too unprecedented. But slowly, impossibly, Roma's brain activity began to stabilize, then strengthen, then pattern into recognizable neural waves. At hour 9, Commander Roma's primary eyes opened. The medical bay erupted in clicks, whistles, and very human cheering. General Vex Thor stood frozen, all 4 eyes wide in an expression Anna had never seen on an Apex face before. Wonder. "How?" he finally asked. Anna, exhausted, allowed herself a small smile. "You Apex conquered death by becoming nearly impossible to kill. But humans? We survived by being really stubborn about refusing to die." She looked at Roma, who was already trying to sit up despite the medical staff's protests. "We don't have regeneration chambers or centuries of life, so we learned to patch, repair, improvise, and bridge. We learned to save people who, by all rights, shouldn't be savable." General Vex Thor approached her, and for the first time since she'd boarded the Sovereignty, bowed his head in genuine respect. "Dr. Chen, I believe humanity's admission to the Coalition may prove more valuable than any of us anticipated." Anna watched Roma reunite with his unit, saw the impossible gratitude in alien eyes, and felt that familiar warmth that had driven her through medical school, through sleepless nights, through every impossible case. "General," she said softly, "humanity's still figuring out this whole galaxy thing. But saving lives? That's something we've been practicing for a very long time."